Hello and welcome to Ivy Times TV. I'm Sally Turner, joined here today with Amanda Remling to discuss Walking Dead, the first episode, and give you some spoilers ahead of the second episode. Amanda, it premiered on October 13th. What an amazing show to start with. But what do we know about this new threat?
Okay, well, the episode introduced a bunch of new characters that were initially in Woodbury and then some that just they found in the woods. And one of these new characters was Patrick. Patrick ended up dying at the end of the episode, and what fans are now debating about whether is if he died of a disease or like some mutation from the zombie virus. And there's a couple clues leading up to his death. There was the illness and death of a pig, which is now like one of the pets at the prison, and there's also the death of a boar in the woods. So fans saw this mutation, all these animals die, and then the death of this character. And the other last clue is these bleeding eyes. So one of the zombies at the prison was focusing in on Rick, and the cameras kept cutting to him. And he was a pretty fresh walker, because at this point we're a couple years down the line, and they're all decaying. This guy was definitely recently dead, and blood gushing from his eyes. And that's one of the last scenes we saw with Patrick, is that he collapsed on the floor, and he was covered in blood on his face.
There are rumours swirling already that this new threat is going to be the worst yet. But how so far does it compare to the other 3 seasons?
Well, season 1, it was really all against fighting the walkers. Season 2, the whole theme was, fight the dead, fear the living. And that's when we encountered the governor and, having to fight against Woodbury and to protect your family and protect everything you own. Not from these walkers who you know what they're capable of, but people. Because once you're in the zombie apocalypse, it's anything goes. You're fighting for weapons, food, just overall safety, by getting to prison. It's a pretty strong area to hold yourself up in. So with this new virus or mutation that's going around, how do you protect yourself from that? You don't have any antibiotics, really. A lot of the stuff in the hospitals, either the hospitals are overrun with walkers, or all the drugs have already been wiped clean. So now it comes to the point of how can we fight this, and if the zombie virus is mutating, what's next? Where do you go from there?
Speaking of fighting it, we did get some clues on kind of the side effects, the bleeding eyes in the first episode, but is there been any indication of what they're going to use to try and prevent it or stop it?
Well, not really. See, the whole thing that fans are really debating on now is this a virus? Is this something that we used to deal with back in the day before there was modern science and technology? So one of the theories floating around that I did a little research on is Ebola. So Patrick, at the end of the episode, he was having stomach cramps and was sweating profusely, and eventually we said bleeding. Mm-hmm. And those are all signs of Ebola, which is something that humans actually haven't been affected with in the U.S., only animals, and it's mainly found in Africa. But, zombie virus time, who knows what could happen. But like I said, the other theory that fans have is that he actually didn't die, because the whole thing with The Walking Dead is that you have to die in order to turn into a zombie. Mm-hmm. So the whole theory is that he didn't die and that he turned into a zombie while he was still alive, in which case it would be the mutation. So how do you fight that? We really don't know until, do you use drugs, or do you just, there's really no answer right now,
And after episode 1, I was kind of hanging on the edge of my seat, like so many viewers out there, I know. But what spoilers do you have for us before episode 2?
Okay, so episode 2 is called Infection, and during The Talking Dead, they gave us a little sneak peek of what's to come. And what happens is, with all the walkers surrounding the gates at the prison, somebody inside the prison walls is feeding them rats. So the whole big question now is who's doing that and why are they doing that? Mm-hmm. So one of the theories surrounding that is one of the new people at Woodbury that came to live in the prison. And last episode we met a bunch of small children that are, maybe preteens, mm-hmm. and a couple of them were naming the walkers outside the gate. So the theory is that, maybe they're growing soft for them, they're growing up in the zombie apocalypse, they don't really know better than, the threat about them. So the theory is that maybe these kids are feeding the walkers, which is obviously very dangerous because it's fueling them and mm-hmm. could eventually drive them to overrun the prison.
And I know it's early in the season, but I know this is one of your favourite shows. So what do you predict is going to be the biggest twist of the season?
It's a tough call right now. The whole new threat is really exciting because you have no idea what twist they're going to take with it. But I'm really excited to see the governor come back. Right now we know that Michonne's searching for him because as long as he's out there, nobody's safe. He's mm-hmm. obviously a lunatic, and we love him for that. Other than that, are they going to stay at the prison? that's another major twist, and we're also getting some new characters from the comic books. So how are they going to interact with the characters that we already have? And obviously the show is set during the zombie apocalypse, so there's going to be a lot of people that don't make it. So what fan favorites are we going to lose?
Ooh, who are we going to lose? Well, we'll have to stay tuned. Thanks, Amanda.
You got it.